Welcome to the Startempire Wire Founders Podcast, where we make entrepreneurial founders a top priority. Each episode features risk takers, business builders, community shapers, institutional and government supporters in our local startup ecosystem. Tune in weekly to hear all about what's happening with the movers and the shakers of Southern California's Inland Empire and beyond. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Founders Podcast. Today, I am with Norm Pelzer of IE Business Edge. Norm is, you probably know him from Riverside Living Magazine. Is it Riverside Living Magazine, Norm?
That's right.
Okay, so we're going to just let Norm tell us about himself, and we're going to get in depth and talk about what's going on with the IE Business Edge as well. So first of all, Norm, who are you as a person? Where'd you grow up? All of that great jazz.
Okay, I appreciate the opportunity, and I'll do my best. And with your leadership and guidance, I'm sure we'll get through this.
Yes.
That being said, let me give you just a little background on me. I have lived in Riverside, California for 50 years. Moved here as a young boy and grew up here. I have raised my children here and now have grandchildren. Nice. That are attending one of the local high schools, junior high schools, and elementary schools all at the same time, 3 different kids. So this has been my home. What's interesting, though, is that, my first gig, my first job, real job, was working in Irvine, California. So I drove. Okay. And got into the mortgage banking industry and spent 7 years with Shearson Lehman Brothers, and then wrote a business plan to build a new division for Bank of America. I was an assistant vice president at the time, and spent ultimately, without going through my entire resume, 27 years in the banking industry. And for 27 years, I drove to Orange County and Pasadena, and 2009 rolled around, and we all know what happened in 2008, 2009. Yeah,
wow.
And I had let...
You were working for Lehman Brothers? You were working for Lehman Brothers around that time? Wow.
Yeah. Well, in 2009, I was with IndyMac Bank.
IndyMac, okay.
And IndyMac Bank was the first bank to be renamed IndyMac Federal Bank, as it was taken over by the federal government as a result of the 2009 financial debacle that took place in the industry.
Wow.
And I decided at that point, I have hired and laid off thousands of people over those 27 years because the mortgage banking industry is very reactive. And I decided I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore.
Wow.
And so I actually resigned from IndyMac Bank and decided I'm going to do a little consulting work because I liked working with small businesses. And so I spent 6 years, give or take, working with mom and pop shops, smaller businesses, helping them to develop internal metrics to measure their business, to remodel their sales organizations, because that was really my area of expertise.
Yes.
But was still doing a lot of driving, had clients throughout the country, but mostly here in the Southland, and did a lot of commuting, and decided one day I'm done doing that too.
Wow.
I want to stay in my own community. I want to meet people and develop a business here locally.
Okay.
So a little over 6 years ago, I launched RLM Company, which is the parent of the Riverside Living Magazine. Started to attend chamber events, went to city council meetings, did all the things that I could do to begin to develop some following and find folks that were movers and shakers within the community.
Yeah.
And here I am now 6 years later on the greater board of the Riverside Chamber of Commerce. I'm a commissioner on the Budget Engagement Commission here in the city. I sit on 7 nonprofit boards. which is a journey in its own right. And decided a year ago I'm going to launch a new magazine that kind of goes back to my roots in terms of business consulting. And that's to create a magazine that provides actionable information from local subject matter experts to help businesses improve in all different ways in all different parts of their business. And we are now on month 10 of that journey of the new publication. Wow. And I couldn't be happier.
Okay, so just out of curiosity, why the publishing industry? Why did you get into when you first started Riverside Living? Because isn't the publishing industry dying?
So no, it is not. And if it were, that would not have been the most wise decision I could have made.
Okay.
So the short answer to your question, two parts, if you will. Part one is I went to visit a friend in Chicago, Illinois, spend a week there, kind of on vacation, and he publishes 3 magazines. And
oh, wow.
They were magazines that went to the most affluent folks in town. They were content driven. They were basically Riverside Living magazine done Chicago style.
Oh,
and,
wow.
And I really, as opposed to sightseeing, spent a lot of time with him during that week, kind of learning what he's doing, and thought, I'm bringing that back to Riverside. There it is.
That's great. Wow.
That's the vehicle I can use to begin to establish myself within my own community.
That's cool.
The second part answer to that question is it dying? Please. The second part is there are more magazines published today than ever before in print. And what has really changed is not the desire for folks to hold something in their hands that will not flash a message on the screen while they're reading.
Yeah.
It's a tactile experience. And what most magazines have become and are doing is they're really niche focused, right? So they have a very specific topic or theme to the magazine. And I wanted to do that for Riverside, and I did it with Riverside Living Magazine.
Yes, yeah, and like Norm, I consider you a veteran, and you've been in the publishing game for a while, and so when you told me about IE Business Edge, the first time you told me about it, I thought this is going to take off. This is really awesome. So tell us, what is IE Business Edge, and what are the specifics of it? Who can be a part of it? All of the great information.
Okay. So the magazine itself, as I aforementioned, it is a business magazine. It is really targeted towards business owners, but general managers and marketing managers can also receive some benefit from it.
Okay.
But all of the focus is on business owners. Yes. The primary reason I decided to launch the magazine is I spent a lot of time in the chamber here in Riverside, and I've met a lot of business owners who 5 years later are in the very same place they were 5 years before. They were stagnant. And they're stagnant for a lot of different reasons. And most of us can guess what some of those basic reasons are.
Yeah.
But whether it extends from not having a firm understanding of how to promote and sell their product or service, all the way to self-limiting beliefs in their own ability to make it happen. Right. And in between that are a sea of different issues that prevent them from living their dreams, so to speak. When every business owner, when they hang a shingle out for the first time, imagines that they are going to build this, powerhouse business that's going to afford them to live the lifestyle they want and
go to Tahiti.
Right. And you just call in from the beach. How are things going? Great. Yeah. I'll call back on Friday. Right. So, but that reality is a challenge for most. And So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna, I'm a relatively smart guy, but I don't have nearly all the answers.
Yeah.
And I'm expert in very few areas. And so I decided I'm going to launch a magazine that provides actionable content that when a business owner finishes reading any of the articles in the magazine, it will either validate what they're doing as being a good thing. It may give them ideas about how to do what they're doing differently.
Yes.
Or it might give them fresh new ideas they never even thought of.
Wow.
And if I can put out that type of content using local experts, I could go out and buy stories from anywhere in the country, but everything is sourced locally, because the ultimate design is that there's a collaboration and a platform for my readers, and that's future plans, working on it as we speak. But so the magazine is available to any business owner. It can be subscribed to, and the folks that actually write a lot of the content for the magazine, as I mentioned, they are local folks who contribute. They're not paid to do it. They don't advertise. It's not advertorial, so they're not promoting their company. They're just promoting ideas and advice and suggestions.
Yes.
And the core of each issue is a feature story.
Okay.
And that feature story is highlighting a current business owner who has been in business long enough to have gone through the most common challenges. They probably have fallen down once or twice along the way, and are now running successful businesses and have meaningful advice and stories to tell that my readers, when they connect with that story, can see themselves in it and also see what's possible.
Okay. So I like that you get into the guts of like how to do certain things. That's really like actionable things that you're putting out there. That I think that's super valuable. And I haven't seen anything like that around here. Like, actually, I've never, except for how-to articles and things on the internet, like, I don't see anything local with local experts that are doing that. So that's where I think that's a super, it's a really powerful niche you've got there. The Inland Empire startup ecosystem industry is tremendously fragmented. A few top-tier hubs, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and San Diego, are well covered by media, events, and data platforms. Finding reliable information relevant to startups or the tech industry in the Inland Empire is extremely difficult. As a result, startups can't scale fast enough. Investors are having a hard time finding the right deals, and corporates can't find the right companies to partner with for their innovation activities. Startempire Wire, the leading Inland Empire startup publication, is providing the Inland Empire startup ecosystem with the most accurate, engaging business and financial data, events, and news. Our reach of entrepreneurs, C-level executives, angels, VC investors, startup employees, key management at innovative corporates, and big tech is the solution for your B2B or B2C needs. As we build out our platform, we're looking for partners. This is your opportunity to get in on the ground level. If you're looking to align yourself with the local and growing startup and tech ecosystem of the Inland Empire, we have created the platform to get your name noticed and the opportunity for you to grow the recognition of your brand. Contact us today for availability and pricing options. We look forward to our partnership with you. So the question I have is, since you launched till now, what has been your growth, and and then what have been some growing pains?
Well, so growth can be measured in a lot of different ways, right?
Yeah.
So when I first launched the magazine, I thought, gee, wouldn't it be great if I could get 100 new subscribers a month to build on the initial 10,000 core readers that I have. I consider that to be a lofty goal. And if I got 10 in a month,
100 a month is quite a bit. Yeah.
It's a lofty goal. I have not obtained that goal yet, but
it's on its way.
I have done much better than I had anticipated. I've added almost 500 subscribers.
That's awesome.
In the first 10 months. So that's a measure of growth. Another portion of growth is, I had 15 contributors to help craft the first issue with their expertise. Today I have dare I say, a stable of over 45 contributors now.
Wow.
And I'm constantly looking to find folks that are willing to lend their expertise to my readers. So that growth has been fabulous.
Yes.
And the most important growth, other than the quality of the magazine and the quality of the content within that magazine, is advertisers.
Advertisers, okay.
Because advertisers ultimately pay for the publication.
That's
and I had 6 advertisers when I launched. I came out of pocket myself because I needed to get it out. And it's tough to sell an advertiser when you talk about the concept of a magazine.
You have to have something.
It's a little bit easier when you can hold one in your hand and actually show it to them.
Yeah.
So what has been one of my areas of focus, obviously, are adding advertisers. And that has become easier and easier with each issue.
Yes.
Because businesses, if you're a business in the Inland Empire that does business with other businesses, B2B, what other platform can you identify that has 10,000 plus business owners that are seeing it and reading it every month? So I still have a way to go because I want to continue to grow the magazine in terms of page count and ultimately grow readership. But it has been good. The challenge
growing pain,
is that I've done most of this myself. So Riverside Living was a smaller undertaking. I had a creative director who does all the layout and design.
Nice.
And the two of us built this magazine, the initial magazine.
How cool.
Today, I obviously have 2 publications. I started out with 2,000 readers going out to 3 little neighborhoods here in Riverside.
Okay.
Today I have over 20,000 readers, and the IE Business Edge stretches from Coachella Valley to Rancho Cucamonga, and from the mountains to Temecula and all parts in between. So
these are hard magazines you're delivering out. And are they free, like, for people to pick up? Do they purchase the magazine?
So they are not free. They are delivered direct mail to 10,429 readers today.
Okay.
If you want to receive I built a website obviously for the magazine. I'm going to begin to start loading some sample content onto that website. But if you want to hold it in your hand and see it every month, you'll have to subscribe to the publication.
Okay, and there's a place they can subscribe online, right?
Yes, they can go to the IEBusinessEdge.com and subscribe.
Okay, cool. All right, so what are current needs of IE Business Edge at this point? What are the most highest priority needs? Maybe 2.
Yeah. Okay. So good question. Twofold. One is continuing to add advertisers. I think we've kind of covered that a bit. But I need to develop a sales force. I really need 5 ad reps throughout the Inland Empire to go out and show businesses why this platform makes sense for them to advertise. So that's an immediate need that I've just begun pursuing. literally last week.
Nice.
So I'm excited about the prospects of building a team around that. The other challenge is just general awareness. So, the 10,000 plus folks who receive it today know that it exists.
Yes.
When I post it on my business and on my personal LinkedIn page, my followers and my connections know that it exists. But there are a vast number of people, the majority of folks out there, don't know the magazine exists.
Yeah.
So developing an awareness on a broader scale is certainly a priority.
Okay.
And I will say, I'm going to give you a third one too.
Okay, go ahead.
The one thing that the Inland Empire is infamous for are our silos. So
yes.
Right, there are so many business resources that are out there that small businesses can take advantage of.
Yeah.
There are 11 chambers of commerce in the Inland Empire. At least 11. There's actually closer to 15. And there are economic development groups and boards that are located in Wildemar and located in Banning. And
they're all over the place.
Right, and they all do stuff, right? They all do good stuff to try and support the business community. But they do it in silos.
Separately.
Right? So they don't coordinate. And there's good reason for that in some cases. But so the challenge for me, or the need that I have, is after having had conversations with most of these organizations, regular ongoing conversations, pulling together a centralized platform for you and I as business owners to be able to know what's happening where and how we can take advantage of it.
Yeah.
So those are my three challenges.
Okay, so now let's move into the short-term top two goals. It's kind of similar to the challenges because I guess maybe they translate over into goals. What are two of your short-term goals within the next 2 months that you're trying to accomplish?
Twofold. Refining my internal systems.
Okay.
So it's one thing to publish a smaller magazine that's community-based. I didn't need to. I could operate just based on a calendar. I knew what my deadline date was, when I needed content from contributors, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
I've used that very same model for the IE Business Edge.
Okay.
The problem is that it is far too big and becoming unwieldy. And so I need to continue to refine my internal structure to better support all the activities that the IE Business Edge needs to make it more efficient for me internally. It's invisible to the outside world, right? At the beginning of every month, I have thin air, and I have to turn that into a magazine, right?
Yes.
So, so my internal systems is something that I really need to focus on, and then going back to the challenge, finding some competent, professional sales folks to go out and introduce the publication to the community.
Magazine. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right, tell us about these like long-term goals that you may have. Maybe 3 years. Where do you see yourself in 3 years? IE Business Edge.
Okay, so the IE Business Edge in 3 years, I'd like to think it'll be a year.
Yeah.
But that might be lofty thinking. But within 3 years, I want to be perceived, or I want the publication to be perceived as a resource hub. As a place through electronically, through the internet, websites, etc., where a community is created, where business owners are not only able to read the publication and learn from, but actually be able to start having dialogue and conversations with their peers, with other business owners. I want them to, I want to create an environment that encourages sharing and putting aside competitiveness for the sake of lifting us all up as a business community, because
right.
the potential for business in the Inland Empire with 4 million folks is unlimited, and so I want to serve as a silo for that, and some offshoots of that might be, for example, next year we're going to hold a business conference.
Yeah,
it'll be a 2-day event, and we'll bring in local experts to talk about things that are meaningful to business owners.
Yes,
so that they walk away from the 2 days armed with ideas, enthusiasm, motivation, and focus in terms of where they're going to go. And they can spend a year doing that, and then we'll do it again the following year.
No, conferences bring people together. So that would be awesome. What about in 5 years? Where do you see IE Business Edge within 5 years?
The short answer, or the obvious, or the expected answer is bigger, broader, right?
Yes.
So I do imagine those things, but honestly, Various, I have not defined as of yet what bigger and broader looks like.
What it looks like. Okay.
Because I could drop IE from it, and it become just the business edge, and
so like national.
In theory, sure, it could be. It could be national, or there could be an OC business edge, and a San Diego business edge.
Right. Yeah.
So, the best approach to that is still has yet to be figured out.
Okay.
Right. So, but ideally, bigger, broader, because my mission is ultimately to help businesses learn, expand, and collaborate. And if I can do that to 100,000 businesses, or 100,000 businesses instead of 10,000, or 1 million businesses, then I'm living my true authentic self.
Yeah, because you help more people.
Right.
And I, the next question was going to be 10 years. So typically, I know that's a big, long, far away thing, but in 10 years, I mean, like.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay, all right.
Okay, I'll give you 10 years.
All right.
In 10 years, so one of the common mistakes that small business owners make is that they build their business around themselves. And what that results in is, if in one day down the road you want to sell the business, or God forbid you're hit by a bus, your business is done.
It's gone.
If you're not there to run it because you built it around you, then it's no longer a business, which means it's less valuable to potential buyers in the future.
So the exit, kind of an exit plan.
Yes. So for me, I don't know exactly what the exit strategy is. I don't know whether I want to sell in 10 years or 5 years, or whether what exactly I want to do. But what I will do between now and figuring that out is build this business so that it does not rely on me.
So it doesn't rely on you. That's a good one.
So
that's a real good one.
Right. So I'm going to build the internal infrastructure of the business, bring in quality people who share the vision and can carry the business without me. Because in 10 years, I would like to be retired.
I love it. Oh my goodness.
So
that'd be great.
And maybe that means, and so I'll just give you a snapshot vision of what that looks like.
Yeah.
In 10 years, I would like to be able to, in addition to helping countless businesses achieve the same thing, I would like to be able to pick up the phone on Monday morning, call into the leadership, ask them, what do we got planned for the week? What's it look like? And then hang up and call back on Friday afternoon and say, how do we do?
Oh, that's great.
Right? And leave all that stuff in the middle
to them,
to people that are better suited, that are smarter than I am, and that's the Tahiti dream.
That dream will take you to Tahiti right there, right?
That's right. That's right.
Okay, so how do people get involved if they want to become a contributor to IE Business Edge? How do they get connected there? If they just want to become a subscriber, are those all the same? Like, what are all the ways people find you online, get connected, and get plugged into what you're doing, Norm?
Okay, great question. So the best way to connect in terms of subscription, in terms of wanting to play a part and contribute to the publication itself, and or advertise. Remember
advertise, yes, advertise. How do they advertise?
So
the big one.
So the website it provides you with a tab that gives the opportunity to submit your information to me, to the organization.
Yeah.
And you can designate why you're doing that. So if you want to contribute, you can simply click on that tab. If you want to advertise, or certainly get information about advertising, you can click there.
Yeah.
And you can click on the subscribe tab to subscribe. The more direct way is simply email me.
And what's your email address that people can reach at?
So I'll give you my direct email address.
All right.
It's Norm at RLMcompany.com.
All right, Norm at RLMcompany.com. Email him directly if you're an advertiser, if you want to subscribe, if you want to contribute, and you're looking to beef up the stable of contributors, right? How many right now? You have around like 40, you said?
I have 40, 45.
And who are you looking for to contribute? Like, who are the types of businesses, people, niches that are going to be great contributers?
So that's a great question. The easy answer sounds like it should be people that are experts, that can write reasonably well, because I can help edit and modify and so forth.
Yes.
But for me, the contributors that give the greatest value to the reader are those that buy into the vision that the Inland Empire is a great place to do business. And we can collectively work together to lift each other up as business owners. Yes, rising tides, right? So if a contributor has something of value to share, that is willing to do that without me having to talk about it not being advertorial, because it cannot be. Right. I'm not here to promote them. They can advertise. But if they buy off on that vision and see the value of being a contributor, then they can write an article, and they will get a short bio at the bottom of each article. They get a headshot, and they can put their email address, because I want readers to be able to ask a question about something they just read to the person that wrote it.
And you can now put in your bio that you are a published author.
That is correct. That for some, it may not even be the vision about lifting all boats.
Right. It's like
it might just be a bio.
The clout. They just want the clout. So yes, if you need some clout, you're a business owner. Maybe you're just getting, trying to get your name out, and you are an expert at what you do, and you've accomplished some things. You've been successful. Contact Norm. Get into the IE Business Edge. I actually am probably going to end up being a contributor as well. So
as you should be.
Yeah, right.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Norm Pelzer. Norm, thank you for joining the Founders Podcast today. Anything else we want to share with our audience before we go close this out?
No, I think you and I have covered it. For folks that are seeing this or haven't had a lot of exposure to this young man on the other end of the video Zoom call here, he is making incredible strides himself to work with the business community, with startups in particular, and stay tuned to the fine quality work that he does. If you have an opportunity, reach out to me. I'd love to connect and just have a chat. I believe in this community. I believe in this business community. I believe that there is tremendous potential for all of us here.
Yeah.
And anything I can do to help facilitate that growth meets my objectives and realizes my mission.
All right. Thank you, Norm. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into the Founders Podcast. If you haven't liked this, go ahead and like it and share it with everyone who you can. If you're not subscribed to the channel, which about 80% plus of you are not, just go ahead and subscribe. We look forward to hearing from you. Get in contact with Norm, get in contact with myself, and tune in for the next Founders Podcast. Thanks again for being with us. Have a great day. Peace.